Bienvenue à tous. Welcome to Reporters. I'll look at the very best of France 24 reporting from around the world. This edition takes you to Burma, where the wind of change has brought a breeze of democracy and freedom, notably for pro-democracy campaigner Aung San Suu Kyi, who now has a passport and the right to travel after 2 decades of enforced seclusion. But is this change of heart by Burma's military rulers, who call the country Myanmar, a change the people in their diverse ethnic groups can believe in? Our reporter Cyril Pyan takes you now to the border between Burma and China, where one people is under attack by the state. And as Cyril Pyan has told us before, they are not the only ones.
This is a Kachin guerrilla outpost at one of the last front lines of combat in Burma. Just ahead of us is no man's land. The enemy is 100 meters away.
The Burmese soldiers are just there. Look, we can see them.
Within earshot, the Burmese army hurls abuse in our direction.
They have been insulting us for 2 days. They call us pigs. They say they'll cook and eat us.
But are you ready if they attack?
Yeah, I'm ready. Just let them try.
Everybody here is expecting a final offensive against this last pocket of armed resistance, as the government seeks to absorb Burma's fiercely independent ethnic parties into the fold.
Here's Kachin territory. Beyond is where Burma begins.
This is one of the few bridges in the area that has not been destroyed and provides a link to the rest of the country.
Yes, here it's like North Korea and South Korea. We have our own demilitarized zone now. We don't go there anymore.
To the Kachin guerrillas' surprise, a truck is seen coming from the other side. This is a rare event after months of intense fighting. The driver has braved his way across the front lines to find a market for his goods.
The Burmese told me I would be killed if I crossed this bridge, but I carried on.
He has just driven through a war zone where 40,000 armed government troops are stationed. This man will get 10 times the price for his merchandise on the Kachin side. This is the way of war. Much of Burma is now dreaming of democracy, peace and freedom. But recent reforms are yet to have any real impact here. This footage taken by the rebels shows the severity of the fighting. It's a merciless war. After 17 years of ceasefire with the Kachin, the government abruptly launched a massive offensive and put the area off limits to foreigners. The region is now only accessible through clandestine routes. Today, the symbol of the resistance is the city of Liza. Close to the Chinese border, the state capital is almost completely cut off from the rest of the country. The lucrative gem trade that helped build this once prosperous city is no more, but its people remain resolute. The city's hotels, formerly booked out by Burmese traders and Chinese tourists, have been converted into war rooms by the Kachin guerrilla command. From there, they engage in a war of words with the Burmese regime.
We have zero confidence in the Burmese government. They're all liars. We know they have no intention of giving any political autonomy or any rights to the ethnic minorities.
Fighting over the past year has claimed many casualties and displaced tens of thousands. But the Kachin people show no signs of giving in. Public support for the war effort remains strong.
I only tailor uniforms. For a year now, the only orders I've had are for uniforms, nothing else.
In Liza, goods smuggled in from China are being stockpiled. The whole city is preparing for a lengthy siege. News broadcast via rebel KIA TV brings reports of a nation in transition, a society invigorated by hope. But the reality of everyday life here bears little resemblance to this revitalized Burma.
Of course, Aung San Suu Kyi is promoting democracy, fine. But what can she do for us? Nothing, as you can see.
There is suspicion that the guerrillas are funding their campaign through drug trafficking. This man is the KIA's most senior drug suppression officer. The rebels are keen to respond to allegations of illicit financing brought by the Burmese regime.
Here is an anti-drug jail exclusively. We have a very strict policy towards drug production, trafficking and consumption. We have laws, we have sentences which are enforced across all of Kachin state, with no exceptions. But truly, our priority is to educate prisoners on the dangers of drugs.
This is the main cell for female drug offenders. They are allowed to have their children with them and the door is left unlocked.
This one's a drug user, and this one's a trafficker.
Me, I was arrested for carrying opium.
But isn't trafficking drugs risky?
No, I didn't know it was illegal.
All these women have been sentenced to a maximum 6-month jail term, enough time for their re-education to try and ensure they do not return to drugs, say the KIA. Then we head to the men's section. Here, the door is securely locked. All the detainees are major traffickers.
I'm here for opium.
Did you know that it was outlawed?
Yes, I knew, but it was just my personal consumption. I have bad back pains.
Do you think that, for example, this gentleman, he will grow again?
To be honest, I don't know. But we've done everything to make them understand that what they're doing is dangerous and illegal. To make them understand that the money they make is dirty. And as for him, well, I hope he got it this time. I sincerely hope he doesn't end up back here again in a few months.
As night falls in Liza, the city's underground casinos open, and the alcohol flows freely. Anybody can place a bet as long as their money is good. This is a side of Liza the Kachin commanders did not want us to show, even if they tolerate it. They are aware that soldiers returning from the front lines are eager to cut loose.
I don't care, even if they order me to go to the front line now. I won't. Not until I get my money back.
The Kachin army is one of the most powerful ethnic armies in Burma, with 20,000 well-trained men. Since the fighting resumed, the KIA has renewed general conscription of soldiers to boost numbers, and hundreds of men and women are enrolling for the front line.
I'm really eager to finally get a real rifle and to defend my nation.
The Kachin number over 1 million. The majority of them are Christians due to the efforts of British missionaries over a century ago, and their priests are also engaged in the fight against the Burmese state.
This is our place, our land, not their land. So as they come up to our place, they're just a bunch of villages. They rape the lady folk, women folk, just killing innocent people, including the children and the babies, destroying churches.
In Liza, women at a chapel pray for those fighting at the front. Widows and mothers take turns to keep praying 24 hours a day. Faith is also part of the war here.
I've decided to pray like this every day until the end of the fighting, but I might die without seeing peace.
The Burmese army's relentless war against the Kachin casts doubt on the regime's apparent reform agenda.
Thousands of people have fled their homes, seeking refuge in impromptu camps around Liza, under the protection of the rebels.
These men and women are displaced in their own land. Civilians are the frontline victims in this fight.
The Burmese soldiers came one morning. They said to us we were Kachin and all Kachin were rebels. Then they started destroying and burning everything. It was horrible. We had no choice but to flee to the jungle.
This family just arrived here. They brought with them a young girl, a survivor.
My mother's dead, and I don't know where my father is. I saw the soldiers, so I hid, and they burned down my house.
There is no international aid going into the Kachin Mountains, no humanitarian corridor. There are few windows into the reality of the war here.
The government claims we're refusing international assistance. It's totally untrue. The United Nations must come to our help, but what we want is direct assistance, not through the intermediary of the local Burmese organisations, because they're using that to infiltrate us.
Despite the war, life must go on, like in this camp school.
Children, I need one volunteer to tell what happened in your village.
Well, in mine, there was an attack. We were rounded up by the soldiers. They took 5 of my friends away to use them as porters. I never saw them again.
Some of these children are not yet 5 years old, but their nationalist instincts are already deeply ingrained.
Now, all of you who want to become soldiers to defend the Kachin state, raise their hand.
More than 1,000 kilometres to the south, the border with Thailand bears the scars of a familiar history for Burma's many ethnic minorities. Over 150,000 mostly Karen refugees have languished in camps for the past 20 years or more. For them, the immediate threat is forced repatriation.
Many people are born here. They will not have a land. Maybe many people are their land are already confiscated by the troops or Burmese government, and so it is the land they will live, where we people here live, is the big problem. So there are a lot of landmines, so safety is a very talking point. What about their livelihood?
Democratic promises in Burma were convincing enough for donors to shift funding away from these camps.
With preliminary ceasefires signed with many ethnic groups, people say the refugees can return. But what do they think about this?
They give trouble many times, and we're afraid. We don't want to go back home.
But if she say you come back, will you come back?
If she say we must thinking about everything.
But if they close the camp, where will you go?
So I still thinking too much, you know. No, I don't know how to say.
And you too. What will you do if the camp is closing?
Me, I will just refuse to leave.
As for me, I'll leave in my coffin.
A Burma in transition is one full of contradictions, opening the country to the outside world and at the same time launching a war against its own population. But this is nothing new for the ethnic minorities of Burma.
The only difference today is that the international community has chosen not to see.
Our reporter Cyril Payan joins us now on the line from Bangkok. Cyril, you discovered or uncovered one of the worst humanitarian situations in one of the most isolated parts of the world. Tell us more about the problems you had getting there.
Well, it was very difficult because it's clearly not limited to foreigners' area. The zone is really a war zone, and it's really a secret war, a forgotten war is going on here. The government prevents anyone to venture in this area. Then to go there, you have to travel through southern China for a long trip, and then through the networks of the rebellion, of the Kachin rebels, you can cross illegally, clandestinely, the Chinese border to get in Kachin state. And what we have experienced by being there is really disastrous on the condition of the humanitarian situation. There is no humanitarian corridor whatsoever, no foreign aid going through, and the fighting have been displacing tens of thousands of civilians, Kachin civilians displaced by the Burmese army offensive and fighting between the Burmese army and the Kachin rebellions, and it's clearly very serious there. And again, the international community is not sending any aid to this area as we are speaking now.
Cyril, you mentioned the Kachin people, of course, that's what your report is about, but previously you've told us about the Karen people, and it seems that this is actually almost a repeat of that situation.
Yes, absolutely. The problem is we're experiencing a forgotten war in northern Burma, in the Golden Triangle with the Kachin. But ironically, this is the perspective of peace in Burma, which now are putting in jeopardy, in danger, a vast community of refugees in Karen area on the Thai-Burma border. These people, because people claim it's peace in Burma, are about to be repatriated by force, probably in the next coming month. There are 150,000 refugees. We have been staying in about 9 refugee camps on the Thai-Burma border for the past 20 years. Most of the people here, the children are born here. They have been experiencing only war, and they don't really want to go back. But the international community is really focusing on the process of democratization in Burma and vague promises by a new regime. And then there are just no funds anymore for these refugee camps. So these people, this huge community of ethnic minority from Burma, are going to be sent back to the unknown, to a country they basically don't know, and they are very skeptical when we say it's peace and you must go back home.
Briefly, Cyril, do they still believe that Aung San Suu Kyi represents the best solution? Do they believe that she can bring them peace?
Yes, indeed. They really, she has been in for her first trip abroad here in Thailand, and she was welcomed by the huge majority of big majority of Burmese migrants here, and she really still brings hope and many hope for better future and freedom and democracy in Burma. But beyond the message, there are many steps to go.
Cyril Payen in Bangkok, thank you very much indeed. If you'd like to see Cyril's report again, you can on our website, france24.com. Burma, change, but still, ethnic minorities are repressed. This is Reporters. You're watching France 24. Stay with us.